see you again, Amber. Thank you for jumping on.
Thanks for having me.
No, always a pleasure. We're in a unique time. What would be your, before we get on to some of the nitty gritty, because you've got so much, I suppose, just value to offer as a mentor and a leader and a salesperson in your own right who kicks butt. But with particular regard to the unique situation that we're in, what's been your sort of advice as you're guiding your teams up on the Sunshine Coast?
I think everyone's got to go with what they're comfortable with, but on a personal note, I actually believe there's an awesome opportunity now. I feel like I think I said this to you on the phone when we chatted, it's a time to shine. So there's definitely going to be other challenges and there's restrictions and other things that add to that. But there's also going to be agents who decide just to wait this out and not act. And I believe it's a time to step up.
Yes, certainly. I remember I did an event back then and I renamed it. That event that we did years ago called Heavy Artillery, I had graphics and everything done up called Time to Shine, because it was a market that in that 2012, that was a bit icky in Southeast Queensland at that time.
Yeah.
And just like now, a bit icky. And now when it's a bit icky, and Matt Steinway, who was on a couple hours ago, he was saying the same thing, that it was in 2008 that he blew up his business and everyone else was horrified about it. And you've seen markets in what, I'm guessing, and I don't want to sort of date you by this, but 20 odd years experience you've had?
Yeah, just over. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. Yes, yeah. It's okay.
Because when I got in 19 years ago, I looked to you for inspiration. I was sitting there listening to your Lee Woodward Hot Topics CD over and over and over again, inspired by this young woman, 10 years my junior, and how amazing you were doing and stuff. So, credit to you. You've parlayed that into an empire up there. So for the one or two people that don't know your story that are on this this thing, give us the early days. Started at 17 on reception, and give us the first 5-year journey story.
Yeah. So I guess to even start before that, I had an interest in property. I had a late uncle that was in real estate. And a father who believes in investing a lot in property. So from 16, I got interested, bought my first property. And then by 17, as soon as I graduated school, I was in a real estate office, and then with the view, obviously, to sell when I was 18. So I didn't waste any time, so to speak. And then, it's been a little bit of a blur, scarily enough to say. But since then, I've had multiple offices and 3 children. So that's the really condensed version.
I still remember listening to that CD. I had it on repeat for years. And I remember you were single at the time. Work was your partner. It was your life. And I remember
Not proud about that, by the way. Not proud.
But that being said, what an amazing example you are of. At that time, you said, my next goal is find a partner that's wonderful, have a family. And next thing you know, those dreams and those visions are coming into reality. And it's like everything that you put your mind to, you seem to achieve. Is there any magic in that? Is it luck? Is it intention? What's the secret between taking something that you intend to happen and setting a goal and then making that not just a goal, but a reality?
Some people would go on to say that being an overachiever is an issue. So you have to work on other things, like not feeling like you need to achieve and just being okay as is. But I've got to turn it off rather than turn it on, to be honest.
Wonderful.
That's reality.
Yeah, no, I certainly get it. And talk to us about work ethic. In recent years, and maybe this has been the wake-up call maybe many people need it, because a lot of people are saying they need to do more. Matt Steinway, who was on earlier today, was saying that he needs to do about 3 or 4 times the work to get the sales that he wants to get. And he's even dropped his expectations of what they want to do. Your work ethic was beyond anything that we all thought possible back in the day. Talk to us about what that talk time was, how many hours that was, and what that looked like for those who might be sort of thinking this is a job that I can sort of work 9 to 5.
Yeah, well, I think when you start, it's not, or it certainly wasn't for me anyway. But It was 8 till 8 was the talk time. So that's the time that I feel like it's reasonable to jump on the phone. It's not too early, and then after 8 is too late. So outside of those hours is working out who to call, and obviously 20 years ago, email wasn't as prevalent as what it is today. So that wasn't as big an issue. So there was a lot of talking, to the point that I have seriously overused my voice box. That's a whole nother issue. But the number of hours on the phone is ridiculous. But that just goes to show. And I think there's something to take from that today. Like, yes, we have, so many emails and technology and other things, but it still doesn't change the fact that that's what delivers results.
Yeah, I was actually, before I get into, the way I used you as an example with every person I ever mentored when it comes to work ethic and hard work, what were the activities that went on between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. other than, say, prospecting for new business? What were the activities that encompassed those 12 hours a day?
I literally was in the car with back-to-back appointments, and then on the phone, and with the Waco esky in the back of the car. Like cooling and whatever I had in there, just so I could. I'm actually a health freak, clearly not mentally, but I am physically. So everything I put into my mouth was very healthy, and it probably needed to be. Otherwise, I would have been a total mess or wreck.
Yeah.
So now I do try and focus more on the mental health side of things.
Understood. Back in the day, people used to ask me about being successful, and I used to talk about, imagine 12 hours a day of dollar productivity, pretty much, talking to people.
No, it totally was.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like 60 to 72 hours a week of dollar productivity, and the average agent does 10. Can't help but be.
Yeah, and even on a Saturday and Sunday, I would have 7 to 8 open homes on a Saturday, 7 to 8 opens on a Sunday, different properties. So that would be 14 to 16 unique opens on top of those calls, which just meant, the numbers were phenomenal. The numbers of calls, the number of attendees, the number of people you meet, the number of appointments. And, I'm happy to confess that was a little bit crazy, and I don't suggest that anyone does that, but it does show something. And at least I guess, just to even do 3 hours or 4 hours of really dollar productive would work really well.
Yeah, that would certainly be more than the average. I remember Michael Sheargold years ago did a study, and he found 8 to 12 hours of dollar productivity per week is the average agent's activities. So when you're doing that in a day, that shows why you became, the legend that we all know. I've seen a lot of... Oh, sorry, Amber, say again.
No, nothing.
Oh, sorry. Just your internet connection might be a bit, maybe the kids are watching Netflix on your connection.
I'm at the office, but it did just say it's not stable. And I'm like trying to be one of those people who doesn't show that I'm slightly freaking out that I could cut off.
No, you're going okay. It's the voice is going great. It's just the visuals. It's sometimes a little choppy, so it's cool. Where was I going? Come on, brain. Okay. No, here's the question. It's a serious one. Many people in your position now with amazing success, Matt is one of them, and many look back on their years that they did like you did, where they look back on them and go, the one thing I wish is I wouldn't have gone so hard. My question of you is the reason you're in a position of success and even able to say, I wish I didn't go so hard, because you went so hard? And if you didn't go so hard, maybe you wouldn't be able to have that thought,
Yes and no. So I don't believe that you need to go that hard. It just wouldn't have happened as quick.
Okay. Yeah. And give us a quick snapshot then. It wasn't all success and roses and, people just, handing you at the age of 21, 22, Form 22As at the time, Form 6s now, agency agreements with full VPA. It wasn't all easy, was it? Tell us about some of the pain of being an agent in your late teens, early 20s.
Yeah, I don't think it ever is really easy. You know, now is not easy. It wasn't easy then. And I don't think anyone is in this industry because they think it's easy. I think they're in it because they know that we get rewarded for what we put in. But for specifics of what wasn't easy, I don't know where to start, to be honest. But yeah, but I mean, let's be frank. I mean, it can be a pretty stressful industry.
For sure. And one of the things that you were doing this before I even knew it was a thing to do. You made yourself an influencer when there wasn't even a term influencer. The term didn't exist when you did it. What were some of the tools that you used to build a personal brand that in 2020, we would call that you were an influencer on the Sunshine Coast? They didn't have a term for that in 2005 when you did that. What would be some of the tools you used to do that, and how have they translated into today's market?
I think, well, I just had something on my desk at the time. This was 20 years ago, and I still remember it. And I typed it out and put on the wall, don't be a secret agent, get out there. Because I was in reception before I started. And the one thing that I could see is the guy who was the tech savvy one who would send all the emails, because it was a real fad then, it just started coming in.
Yeah.
He was the one who didn't do as well as the ones who I really never saw. So it made me realize that I'm not going to do well by sitting in the office. And, you know, I took all those things to extremes. Like I wouldn't go at all, and I'd, you know, work from the car. And even now in our office, we have hot desks for agents, not actual desks, because no one should ever bring their stuff and settle in. Like this is not what, you know, we're designed to do.
Yeah,
and I'm a nester and a settler, but I still don't have a desk at the office. I believe in bringing my laptop and my earphones into wherever I am.
I remember hearing stories about you know, being in the car, throwing paperwork out the window at your assistants and then just moving on.
And see ya. That drove in the keys. I'd say, this is my list. It wasn't quite throwing, but it was passing calmly through the window.
But the visions I had is you barely rolling down.
I know. Well, they all started at 8:30, and I still wake up early, and I still feel like there's like half a day before.
Yeah, that's lunchtime for you.
Yeah. I have a baby.
I certainly agree that, I mean, I had these printed a couple of years ago just because too many agents are doing the whole clickety click. So, you know, click from place to place, but don't forget face to face, because, you know, that's where the influence happens, the persuasion happens. Yeah. I remember now actually you might have to correct whether this is an urban legend or not, or an urban myth. What's your biggest, back in the day when really your primary methodology of doing that, of communicating, was the phone, what's the biggest phone bill you've ever had in a month?
I actually don't remember, but it is more about, like I know when I used to, because remember there wasn't these cap plans, by the way.
Yeah,
so
there was a cap, but then there was penalties for going over.
Off the top of my head, it might have been like $800 or $900 or something like that. But I remember people would say, this is ridiculous. We've never seen a phone bill like this. And I'd be like, wow, okay. I thought everyone did this. Everyone in real estate anyway, but they don't. And so more recently, because it's so easy on an iPhone, I have actually tracked my numbers of hours on the phone. And on a busy day, I can be on the phone for 7 hours of actual talk time still. And then I wonder why I don't want to, you know, talk much at night, because I'm so over talking all day. But there's still a lot of hours on the phone.
And yeah, I couldn't agree with saying. I thought you were reformed nowadays, hey?
Oh, clearly I'm not. I'm a total addict and I need help.
As a business owner now, you've built a brand for more people than yourself. You know, you've had success stories come out of the Amber Werchon brand, out of the Amber Werchon offices, and you've expanded up there. As a principal, what are some of the things you do at Amber Werchon Property, at your brand, that provide an environment for your team to success? You mentioned hot desks. What are some of the other things that you're doing that a typical, you know, just a typical franchise brand might not be doing? why should I come work for you when I'm retired and I want to, kind of be an agent again? Why am I going to come and work for Amber?
And I think that it's, dynamics have changed a lot in terms of real estate models. So I think the biggest, and it's probably not a point of difference to a certain extent, but is that most of our agents are conjuncting agencies. So they're literally running their own business within a business. So there is no real reason why they need to go out on their own. As far as I'm concerned, is they have their cake and eat it too. And aside from having their name on the door, which is in conjunction with mine anyway, they have theirs in conjunction with mine. They don't have to worry about all that back end stuff, all that HR stuff, all this COVID stuff. You don't have to worry about anything else. And they have someone that is helping them generate leads, has a brand, mentoring, handle complaints, etc. So I kind of feel like they can have their cake and eat it too. And, when I started, I think I was getting something like, I don't know, 35% of 92%. And, we pay 70 to 85 of 100%. So, it's the whole world has changed a lot in terms of agencies.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember the 40%. We were an independent, but I started on 40%. And we did everything. Like, we generated the lead and everything. And it certainly has changed. And now, I was honoured that you invited me up to come and rant and rave at your team. And this is some years ago. And, and so not only are you paying high percentages, but you still believe in bringing in mentors and experts and people to help. So what's been your value and that you've put on learning from other folks?
Yeah, I still think that for anyone, whether it's a franchise group or someone like me who's, a conjunctional agent to a lot of them, there is higher pressure than ever, by the way, to provide value. So whether you're getting 15%, 30%, or somewhere in between, or as a franchise 8, 10, etc., I do believe that there's that pressure for value, and I don't take that lightly. So I look at them like my clients, and I believe that they get a good service.
Yeah.
So most stay, but like with anything, you're not going to keep them all.
Yeah, well, I mean, Richard Branson, I remember said, and, I was honoured that you spoke at that event with Sir Richard with us. It was the Arnold one. There's so many we've done, and every time I beg you, I say, Amber, please, please, please. And sometimes you've said yes, and I'm honoured that you have. He said once, train them well enough that they could leave, and then do your best to treat them well enough that they don't want to. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we literally train them to run their own agency. So that's a pro or a con. See how you look at it. But
for sure.
Yeah.
You're in pretty good company though with Richard, if that's the way he's run his life,
Yes. Yeah.
What have you, and given that you've seen both as a colleague, as a, fellow franchise member, that you've been in business with, you've seen a couple of decades worth of success and people who maybe looked the goods but didn't make it. What are some of the commonalities that you'd say make for success in today's market?
I think in any market, being authentic and working hard, speaks volumes. And it's a pretty damn good recipe.
Definitely. Where can people find you to, if they are wanting to perhaps find out more, maybe get a copy of some of your keynote speeches that you've done, if you've still got any of them in the stock, but if they want to find Amber, where can they go to get you?
But they are welcome to reach out and send me an email. It's not hard to find my email address online. So please feel free to do that, or send me a Facebook message. And yeah, happy to connect with more people if there's an opportunity.
Wonderful, Amber. Hey, thanks so much for jumping on. I know that I called you last minute, and actually I called Amber last week and I said, Amber, can you jump on? And she thought I meant now. So. Yeah,
I did. I was like, on a Sunday? Like, I've got my kids. It's not even going to be quiet.
So I just thank you though so much.
You're definitely not doing video on a Sunday. There is no makeup, nothing.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, I won't even go there. But I was saying to Amber, is she ever going to age? Because you look exactly the same now as 20 years ago, girl.
Thank you. Don't feel the same, but it's all good.
Congrats on everything, Amber. It's been inspiring to watch as a student of yours. And as I've listened to your successes, so often I've used you as an example of success for up and coming agents and experienced agents the like. So I'm just so glad every now and then we get to hang out. And once again, thanks for being part of this craziness.
Me too. Take care.
All right. Bye, Amber. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All
Thank
right.
you.